You have manifested before, held the vision quietly in your mind, spoken the words out loud, felt the hope rise, and then watched it slowly fall away again, more than once. That was never failure, it was only incompletion, because you were shown one fragment of a far older, far more complete science of the mind, and it changes everything. Yesterday, we measured the low, heavy pull of a vibration you did not consciously choose, quietly running underneath your ordinary days. Today, we go further, into the law that explains why a single thought, held long enough and felt strongly enough, eventually becomes the very shape of your circumstances. Modern manifestation calls this attraction, as if desire were a magnet, quietly pulling objects toward you from some shelf in the universe, simply waiting there to be claimed. But the Hermetic masters called it something else entirely. Something structural, something mechanical, something you are about to understand from the inside, not as a metaphor, but as a working law. They called it mentalism, the first and governing law of the entire Hermetic system, and it states one thing plainly. The universe you live inside of is not physical first, it is mental first, always. Matter, in every form you can touch, is only mind slowed down enough to become solid and visible to your senses. If that is true, and it is, then your life is not something merely happening around you, while you passively watch from the sidelines of your own experience. It is something being continuously drafted right now by you, whether you draft it on purpose with attention, or by default, without noticing you are drafting anything at all. Most people manifest entirely by default, letting old thought patterns, old fears, and old inherited assumptions write the next chapter of their life completely unsupervised. And then they wonder, quietly, why the new chapter looks almost exactly like the one that came directly before it, year after year. Before this ends, you will understand the exact mental mechanism the Hermetic masters used to bend circumstance on purpose, deliberately, with full awareness, rather than by accident or blind hope. And you will understand why it has nothing to do with luck, timing, or coincidence, and everything to do with structure, mechanism, and consistent, felt repetition. You will learn how to take the pen back, how to draft your own circumstances deliberately, instead of by default, using a mental law that modern neuroscience is only now, slowly, beginning to catch up to, confirm, and measure in a laboratory, centuries after the Hermetic masters first named it in their teaching. Stay with me all the way through. This changes how you see everything that has already happened to you, and, more importantly, everything that has not happened yet, because the law that quietly governs both of those things is the very same law, and in the next few minutes, you are going to learn its name and how it actually works. A sculptor never adds anything from outside the stone to make a statue appear out of nothing, ever. They cut away only what is not the form, patiently, deliberately, piece by piece. And the form that was already latent, already waiting quietly inside the block the entire time, is what remains, is what finally gets revealed to the eye. Your mind works with reality in exactly the same way as that sculptor works with stone. It does not import a life from somewhere outside of you, from some other shelf. It shapes one out of mental substance that is already available to it, right now, in this very moment, simply waiting to be given a deliberate form. This is the principle of mentalism, the first and foundational Hermetic law. The all is mind. The universe itself is mental, held entirely within one infinite all-containing mind. And everything you call solid, everything you can touch, measure, or hold in your hand is simply a thought that has slowed down enough to become visible. You were taught to think positive, to repeat an affirmation quietly under your breath, to hope hard enough, and to simply call that finished process manifestation and wait. But no one ever explained the actual mechanism. No one explained why a thought held in an ordinary human mind would ever become a physical thing you could hold. Here is why plainly. Your mind is not separate from the mind that holds the entire universe together in a single act of continuous thought. It is an individualized portion of that same mind, carrying the same essential nature, the same creative property, only expressed here on a far smaller, more personal scale. That is not poetry, that is structure, plain and mechanical. As within, so without, the Hermetic Principle of Correspondence, which states clearly that your inner state and your outer world are always, eventually, without a single exception, forced into agreement with one another, no matter how long the gap between them appears to last. Read that sentence again. This is not mysticism. This is mechanism, and it can be described in plain, measurable, testable terms. Modern neuroscience calls it neuroplasticity, the process by which a mental image, held with feeling and repeated consistently, physically rewires the exact neural pathway your brain will default to next, quietly, automatically, without you ever consciously choosing it in the moment. Athletes have quietly used this exact technique for decades, mentally rehearsing a shot they have not physically taken yet, over and over, in complete, patient stillness, before ever stepping onto the field, because the brain does not fully distinguish between a vividly held mental image and an experience that has actually already been lived directly in the body. Your mind, then, is not the reporting department of your life, quietly describing only what has already happened to you after the fact, long after it truly mattered. It is the blueprint department, the exact place the rest of your life gets designed, drafted, and eventually physically built from, quietly, line by line. This is the fragment, modern manifestation, quietly left out of the conversation entirely. Vague, positive thinking, offered without mechanism, without repetition, without any real, felt emotion behind the words. And then it was simply left to wonder, endlessly, quietly, privately, why nothing physical, nothing tangible, ever actually arrived in return. The Hermetic Masters gave the whole system, not the fragment. Hold the image clearly, feel it as already true in your body, and repeat it until neuroplasticity quietly, physically, does its patient work. And now, let's put this to work together, directly, inside your own mind. Come into this with me. Come into stillness with me now, fully, completely, without rushing anything. Let your shoulders drop. Let your breath slow all the way down. Let the noise of the outer world fall quietly to the background. just for these next few minutes we are about to spend together, deliberately, on purpose, with full attention. You are not here to wish for something to eventually happen, someday, out there, in vague, distant hope. You are here to do mental work, deliberate work, focused work, the same disciplined, quiet work a sculptor performs in complete silence, long before the very first cut into the stone is ever made. Feel the weight of your body settle fully into stillness, right where you are, without adjusting anything, without moving at all. Feel your attention gather itself into a single, steady point, because everything that follows in this practice depends entirely on the quality of the stillness you are building right now, in this exact moment. Release the belief that reality simply happens to you, that you are only a bystander waiting on circumstance, waiting on luck, waiting on timing, or waiting on someone else's permission to finally begin living a different, more deliberate life than the one you have quietly been living by default, without choosing it. That belief was never actually true. Not once. It was only ever a habit of thought, repeated so many times over so many years that it began to feel like settled, unquestionable fact. And a habit of thought, unlike an actual fact, can always be noticed, interrupted, and deliberately replaced with a new one. Let it go now, not with force, not with struggle, not with a dramatic fight against yourself, but the same quiet way you would set down something heavy you no longer need to carry with you into the next part of your life, your day, or this very practice. Begin with identity, because the self-image you quietly carry, mostly unnoticed beneath your daily thoughts and routines, is the very first reality you are already silently bending toward, one repeated thought at a time, every single day, whether or not you are paying attention to it right now. Ask yourself honestly, right now, without softening the answer for comfort or convenience, which version of you have you actually been holding in mind? The one still waiting to be proven worthy, or the one already fully capable, already carrying the same creative property as the all, right now, in this present unfolding moment of your life? I release the identity that quietly waits for permission, for approval, for someone else to grant it before I even begin. I hold, instead, the identity of one who is already an individualized portion of the very mind that made the stars, deliberately, on purpose, choosing this identity starting now, not someday, not eventually, not later. Say that declaration again, in your own words, out loud if you can, if you need to, slowly, because the mind believes what it consistently, patiently repeats, not simply what it happens to hope for once in passing, before quietly forgetting it again by tomorrow morning. Whatever identity you hold today, held with real, felt emotion and consistent, patient repetition, is the exact identity neuroplasticity will quietly begin wiring into your default, automatic responses by tomorrow, and the day after that, and the one after that, whether you consciously notice the shift or not. Now, turn to circumstance, the actual conditions of your daily life, your work, your finances, your health, your everyday texture and routine, all of it without exception, because by the principle of correspondence, none of these external conditions are ever truly separate from your sustained inner state, held consistently long enough. You already know this is true. I release the belief that my circumstances are permanently fixed, unchangeable, set in stone, beyond my reach. I hold, instead, that my outer conditions are correspondence, slowly, steadily catching up to a mind I am actively, deliberately changing right now, one held thought at a time, one day at a time. This is not denial of what is genuinely difficult in your life right now, not a pretending that real hardship somehow isn't real. It is simply a refusal to let what is difficult today be the only voice allowed to write what comes directly next in your story from this moment forward. A mental state held steadily over time and sustained with real, felt emotion does not politely request new circumstances from the universe and quietly wait for a reply that may never come. By the principle of correspondence, it quietly, structurally, requires them into existence, the same way every cause requires, eventually, without fail, its effect. Now turn to relationships, because the mental image you privately hold of another person, even silently, without ever saying a single word out loud to them, not once, shapes the exact frequency you meet them at, and often quietly, how they show up around you in return, again and again, without either of you ever naming it. This is not an attempt to control another person's mind or choices at all, not ever. It is simply taking full, honest responsibility for your own, the only mind you were ever actually given real authority over, from the very beginning of your life, in every relationship you have. I release the resentment I have been silently rehearsing again and again, without even noticing I was quietly doing it, day after day. I hold, instead, the relationships as they could be, met by the fuller, steadier person I am now consciously, deliberately choosing to become, one held thought at a time, patiently. Notice how a relationship quietly begins to shift over time, not because the other person necessarily changed first, but because what you were silently, privately, quietly holding toward them, underneath all the words spoken between you, changed first, and they simply, naturally, eventually responded to that quiet shift. Let this settle in fully before you move ahead to the next area of your life. Now, turn to purpose, the actual direction your daily decisions have quietly, steadily been drifting toward, over months and years, whether or not you consciously chose that direction on purpose, with full awareness, back when this drift first quietly began, years or even decades ago, without you fully noticing at the time. Purpose is not some distant mystery waiting to be discovered somewhere far outside of you, in another city, another career, or another version of your life entirely. It is a signal, already present quietly within you, simply waiting for enough stillness, finally, to be heard clearly, and then acted on. I release the fear that I am somehow behind everyone else, that I have wasted precious years, that the exact direction I was truly meant for is slowly, permanently closing itself off from me, while I hesitate here, quietly, waiting for a sign that honestly never actually comes. I hold, instead, that I am the cause of my own direction, not merely the passive effect of my past delay, hesitation, or doubt. And every single day I consciously, deliberately hold this thought is a day I bend that direction further, closer, more precisely, more deliberately toward the life I actually want to live. You are not late, and you were never actually late. Not once, not really, no matter how it has quietly felt. You were only quiet, holding the wrong inner image for a while, waiting patiently for a permission that was never truly anyone else's to give you in the first place, not ever. This is the whole system, fully restored, not merely the fragment. One mind, one governing law, applied deliberately and consistently across every single area of a life you are already continuously building right now, whether on purpose, with full awareness, or quietly, unknowingly, entirely by default. Say this with me out loud, right now, with real felt conviction. I am not separate from the all. My mind carries that very same creative substance as the mind that holds the entire universe together in every star, every atom, and every quiet, ordinary thought I have. Say this with me. Reality is not fixed, permanently, outside of me, simply waiting to be discovered exactly as it already is. It is mental at its very root, and I am mind, consciously, deliberately, acting upon mind, right here, right now, in this very declaration. Say this with me. What I hold with real, felt feeling, I hold into physical form, into circumstance, into lived, daily experience. Not someday, in some distant, unspecified future, but beginning right here, right now, in this very moment, with this very breath I am consciously, deliberately taking. Say this with me. I do not beg reality to change on my behalf, quietly hoping someone or something else will move first for me. I bend it, deliberately, by changing what I hold within my own mind, starting today, starting right here, with this very declaration. Say this with me. I am the architect, not simply the tenant. My mind is the blueprint, not an accident. My life is the structure, quietly and continuously being built from that very same blueprint, floor by floor, decision by decision, day after day. Say this with me, one final time, with your whole attention, your whole body, your whole willing mind. I release the passive wish, I take up the active hold, and I am, always, now, and every single day after this one, an individualized portion of the all. Do not just hear this teaching and quietly move on with your day. Inscribe it. Type I am in the comments below, right now, to anchor this cause into the physical matrix today. Share this with someone who is ready to remember who they really are, and subscribe, because a new law, a new key, arrives here every single day. You were never actually separate from the all, not for a single moment. You were only waiting, quietly, patiently to remember it, and now, in this exact moment, you finally do.